You think you're smart, don't you? You've never done anything monumentally stupid that required medical intervention, right? Well, let me tell you something that'll shake that confidence. There's a place where human intelligence goes to die, and it's not social media. It's the emergency room. I've got access to 33 real documented cases that prove Darwin was onto something big. From the man who turned himself into a human firework launcher to the genius who tested if his tongue was allergic to electricity, these aren't accidents. These are masterpieces of stupidity. So buckle up, because what you're about to hear will make you question how our species ever made it this far. Number 1. The bulletproof phone case test. Picture this. You just bought a phone case that claims to be bulletproof. Most reasonable humans might test this by placing the phone on a table and shooting from a safe distance, but not our hero. He had his friend shoot it while he held it in his hand. Because nothing says scientific method like using your own flesh as a control variable. The bullet sailed through the case like tissue paper, obliterated the phone, and continued straight into his hand. He arrived at the ER having proven 2 things. His phone case was a fraud, and he had the critical thinking skills of a concussed goldfish. The doctors patched him up while wondering if stupidity should be covered by insurance. This man literally put his hand in front of a loaded gun because a product description said it would be fine. That's not trust. That's a suicide attempt with extra steps. Don't let your IQ drop further. Subscribe now before you become case number 34. Number 2. The human firework launcher. This particular patriot decided launching fireworks from the ground like a peasant wouldn't do. He needed to become one with the explosives. So he positioned Roman candles between his butt cheeks and lit them up. For those unfamiliar, Roman candles shoot flaming balls multiple times and get incredibly hot. Hot enough that instructions say to never hold them, let alone clench them between bare buttocks. The result was exactly what physics predicted. Third-degree burns in the most embarrassing location possible. He had to explain to ER nurses and a concerned proctologist exactly how he turned his backside into a launch pad. This man turned America's birthday into a personal day of infamy, proving patriotism and intelligence aren't always found in the same person. Number 3. The Buzz Lightyear mission. A man walked into the ER with a full-sized Buzz Lightyear action figure lodged inside his colon. When doctors asked how this toy ended up in such an unfortunate location, his explanation was delivered with a straight face. He must have climbed in there. This grown man expected medical professionals to believe a plastic toy achieved sentience and independently explored his lower intestine. The audacity is almost impressive. Doctors performed an extraction while maintaining composure and internally screaming. Buzz was successfully removed, traumatized, and needing thorough cleaning. The X-ray of this must be framed somewhere as a reminder of human absurdity. Sir, Buzz Lightyear did not climb in there. You put him there. Own it. Number 4. The lightning rod experiment. Benjamin Franklin flew a kite in a thunderstorm and discovered electricity. This guy did the same with a metal key attached and discovered what becoming a human light bulb feels like. The difference is, Franklin had equipment, scientific understanding, and a controlled setup. This modern Einstein had a kite, a key, and the scientific knowledge of a damp sock. The lightning struck, traveled down the string through the key, and turned him into a temporary conductor for several thousand volts. He survived, but now sports permanently electrified hair that stands on end like he's touching a Van de Graaff generator. The ER treated him for electrical burns and terminal stupidity. You don't get to cosplay as a founding father without understanding actual science. Number 5. The frozen turkey inferno. The golden rule of deep frying turkey is it must be completely thawed and dry. Our culinary daredevil decided waiting was for people with patience and survival instincts. He dropped his completely frozen bird directly into 350-degree oil. The ice instantly turned to steam, expanded violently, and caused the oil to erupt like a liquid volcano. Flames shot 6 feet high, his deck caught fire, his eyebrows ceased to exist. He ended up in the ER with severe burns, having ruined Thanksgiving, destroyed his deck, and created a cautionary tale firefighters will tell for generations. Physics doesn't care about your holiday schedule. Number 6. The python feeding mishap. It was feeding time and he'd bought a frozen rat. Normal protocol involves using tongs, but he decided to just toss the rat near his python while standing barefoot nearby. The python, hunting by heat signature, looked at the rat, looked at the warm foot, and chose the foot. In one strike, the snake latched onto his ankle and began constricting. He had to call 911 with a python actively trying to cut off his circulation. Paramedics arrived to find him with a snake wrapped around his leg like an aggressive boot. They unwrapped the unhappy python. He was treated for puncture wounds and bruising, learning that reptiles don't understand pet ownership. They just understand warm equals food. Number 7. The Chimney Santa. This dad decided to surprise his kids on Christmas Eve by coming down the chimney dressed as Santa. He climbed onto his roof in full costume and attempted to shimmy down. He made it 3 feet before getting wedged. His shoulders were too wide. His padded stomach created a perfect cork. He was stuck for hours while his kids slept inside, unaware Santa was having a claustrophobic nightmare above their fireplace. His wife eventually heard his screams and called firefighters, who had to break the bricks to extract him. The kids woke to firefighters demolishing their chimney and Dad covered in soot and shame. Some Christmas magic should stay fictional. Number 8. The Chainsaw Sculpture Incident. This aspiring woodworker decided to create a squirrel sculpture with his chainsaw. He was carving away when the tool hit a knot and bucked violently, bouncing off the half-finished squirrel into his thigh. Chainsaws don't stop just because they've transitioned from wood to flesh. He stood in shock, watching his artistic tool become a surgical nightmare. The chainsaw was still running, still embedded. He had to turn it off while it was inside him. He stumbled into the ER carrying both the chainsaw and wooden squirrel, unable to let go of either. He needed dozens of stitches and learned woodworking classes exist for a reason. His sculpture remains unfinished, a testament to ambition meeting incompetence. Number 9. The Dynamite Fetch Game. This guy claimed he had a dud stick of dynamite and thought playing fetch with it would be hilarious. His dog, being a good boy who wanted to please, sprinted after it, grabbed it, and brought it right back, tail wagging. That's when the dud stopped being a dud. It exploded right between man and dog. Both miraculously survived. The man required surgery to remove shrapnel. The dog came away with minor injuries and probable psychological trauma. ER doctors documented injury caused by explosive fetch, possibly a medical first. This man endangered himself and his loyal companion because he thought dynamite was a toy. The dog deserved better. Number 10. The Toilet Chemistry Disaster. This woman wanted the world's most spotless toilet and decided if one cleaner was good, 2 must be better. She mixed bleach and ammonia in her tub. For those who slept through chemistry, that combination creates chloramine gas, literally used as a weapon in World War I. She turned her bathroom into a tiny gas chamber. The moment she mixed them, toxic fumes billowed out. She inhaled a lungful before her brain caught up. Her husband found her collapsed in the hallway. She was treated for severe respiratory distress and chemical burns in her lungs. Her bathroom required professional decontamination. This woman's quest for cleanliness nearly killed her. Number 11. The Homemade Zipline Disaster. This man looked at his yard and saw potential. He'd build a zipline for his kids. Professionals use steel cables rated for thousands of pounds. He used a clothesline. Professionals use industrial harnesses. He used his kids' plastic tricycle handlebars. He climbed up, grabbed the handlebars, and launched himself. For 1.5 seconds, it worked. Then, the clothesline snapped. He plummeted straight down, landing flat on his back. His pelvis fractured on impact. He lay there staring at the sky, contemplating every choice that led to this moment. His kids watched from the window, learning why Dad's ideas aren't always good ones. Number 12. The Tiger Selfie. This tourist decided a normal zoo photo wouldn't do. She needed something dangerous, something incredibly stupid. She climbed over the safety barrier, clearly marked with warnings, and leaned close to the tiger enclosure, phone extended. The tiger, an apex predator with millions of years of evolutionary instincts, reached through the bars and grabbed her arm. Her scream echoed to the parking lot. The tiger pulled, she pulled back, and for terrifying seconds, she was in a tug of war with 300 pounds of muscle and claws. Zoo staff got the tiger to release her. Her arm was shredded with deep lacerations requiring hours of surgery. She got her photo. It became hospital evidence. She tried to sue the zoo, who pointed to the barrier she'd climbed over and 17 warning signs she'd ignored. Number 13. The industrial drain cleaner mouthwash. This woman found a teeth whitening hack online that promised Hollywood smiles. She didn't have the exact product, so she improvised with industrial drain cleaner from under her sink. The stuff with skull and crossbones designed to dissolve hair, grease, and organic matter. She swished it like mouthwash and immediately understood her catastrophic error. Her mouth burned like swallowing lava. The chemical ate through tissue in her cheeks, gums, and tongue. She spit it out, screaming, but damage was done. ER doctors treated severe chemical burns inside her mouth. She required multiple surgeries and will probably never taste food properly again. If a product dissolves clogs, it will absolutely dissolve you too. Hit subscribe or you'll end up like these geniuses. Your choice. Choose wisely for once. Number 14. The Cactus Love Declaration. This gentleman wanted to prove his devotion to his girlfriend in a grand gesture. Flowers were too ordinary, so naturally, he decided to hug a large cactus, literally. He walked up to a saguaro covered in thousands of needle-sharp spines, spread his arms wide, and embraced it. The cactus impaled him with hundreds of spines simultaneously through his shirt and skin, some deep enough to scrape bone. He stood essentially velcroed to a plant, screaming while his girlfriend watched in horror. Paramedics carefully pulled him away from his prickly victim. Doctors spent hours removing spines with tweezers. His girlfriend stayed through the ordeal, though she probably questioned dating a man who hugs cacti. Romance isn't dead, but his dignity is. Number 15. The Christmas light trampoline method. This dad saw a trampoline, a staple gun, and thought he'd innovate. Why use a boring ladder when you could bounce to festive glory? He dragged the trampoline under his roofline and started jumping, planning to staple lights at the peak of each bounce. The plan was idiotic. One jump, he went up holding the staple gun at an unfortunate angle. Coming down, the gun pressed between his thigh and trampoline and fired, a staple embedded deep into his leg. He yelped, lost control, bounced wildly, and crashed off the side, spraining his ankle. He lay in his yard with a staple in his thigh, swollen ankle, and not a single light hung. His house remained dark, but his shame shone bright. Number 16. The roof riding mower. This guy looked at his gutters, looked at his riding lawnmower, and had what he thought was brilliant. He'd drive the mower onto the roof. He constructed a rickety ramp and actually got it up there. For 4 seconds, he lived his dream. Then, gravity intervened. The mower, unstable on sloped shingles, began sliding. He tried to steer and brake, but momentum had other plans. The mower tipped sideways, taking him with it. Together, they slid down the roof and crashed into the driveway. The mower was totaled. Multiple fractures and lacerations followed. His neighbors who'd gathered to watch called 911 while filming. He spent weeks in recovery, gutters still clogged, having learned elevation and heavy machinery don't mix. Number 17. The gasoline bonfire. This guy wanted instant inferno. He grabbed a gallon of gasoline, doused an enormous wood pile, and struck a match. What happened next was less bonfire and more explosion. Gasoline fumes ignited first, creating a fireball that expanded faster than human reaction time. The flames engulfed him before his brain could process danger. His eyebrows vaporized, his hair crisped, skin blistered instantly. Friends screamed and grabbed anything to smother the flames. He was rushed to the ER with first and second degree burns across 20% of his body. Doctors explained gasoline doesn't burn, it explodes. The vapor ignites instantly, turning regular guy into human torch. He learned this sitting in a hospital bed, hairless, crispy, and profoundly regretful. Number 18. The Gorilla Glue hairdo. This woman reached for the first spray bottle in her bathroom without checking the label. It wasn't hairspray, it was Gorilla Glue, industrial adhesive designed to bond wood, metal, and stone permanently. She sprayed it all over her hair and worked it through. Within minutes, her entire head became one solid, immovable helmet. She tried washing it out. The glue is waterproof. She tried pulling it apart. It's designed to hold under thousands of pounds of pressure. She'd turned her hair into permanent sculpture. She went to the ER with fossilized hair. Doctors tried solvents and oils. Nothing worked. A specialist spent hours dissolving it with acetone, destroying most of her hair. She left essentially bald, having learned product labels exist for a reason. The warning saying permanent isn't a suggestion, it's a promise. Number 19. The live goldfish bet. Bar bets are stupid. Add alcohol and male pride, and suddenly swallowing a live goldfish seems reasonable. The bet was probably $20. He grabbed the fish, tilted his head back and swallowed it whole. The fish, fighting for survival, got stuck, lodged in his throat, blocking his airway. His face went from triumphant to panicked. He couldn't breathe. Friends tried the Heimlich. The fish wasn't budging. By the time paramedics arrived, he was turning blue. They rushed him to the ER for emergency extraction. The goldfish incredibly survived. The man barely did. He learned bar bets can kill you and $20 isn't worth dying over. The fish learned humans are the worst. Number 20. The microwaved smartphone. Water damage is the death of electronics. Everyone knows the rice trick. This guy was in a hurry. He had a microwave. Heat equals dry, microwave equals heat, therefore solution. He placed his phone in the microwave for 2 minutes. Within 30 seconds, he smelled burning. At 45 seconds, popping sounds. At 1 minute, his phone exploded. The lithium battery ignited, plastic melted. He opened the door and toxic smoke poured out. He reached in to grab his phone. Molten plastic and metal splattered onto his arm. He screamed and ran to the sink. The plastic had bonded to his skin. He ended up in the ER with second-degree burns and phone remnants attached to his forearm. Doctors scraped away melted electronics while explaining microwaves excite water molecules, which in phones means explosion. Number 21. The hearing aid battery mistake. This patient had a morning routine. Wake up, take vitamins, start the day. One morning, groggy and half awake, he grabbed what he thought was a vitamin and swallowed it. Hours later, his stomach started burning, searing chemical fire, burning. He finally went to the ER. X-rays revealed a tiny hearing aid battery in his stomach, slowly leaking alkaline fluid. These batteries contain potassium hydroxide, a caustic substance burning through organic tissue. It was literally eating a hole through his stomach lining. Emergency surgery removed it before complete perforation. He survived but now has permanent scarring in his digestive tract. The battery looked exactly like a pill, same size, similar shape. A simple mistake that nearly killed him. Number 22. The champagne saber fail. This guy wanted to impress his date by sabering champagne with a samurai sword. He'd seen videos online where people dramatically slice off the bottle top. He raised the sword, aimed for the neck, and swung with confidence. He missed. Instead of hitting the seam, he struck the thick body. Glass exploded everywhere. Champagne sprayed. Several large shards embedded in his forearm. Blood mixed with champagne. His date screamed. He stood there, sword in one hand, bleeding from the other, surrounded by shattered glass and destroyed ambiance. The date was over. She drove him to the ER, where doctors spent hours picking glass from his arm. 37 stitches later, he was patched up, single, and profoundly embarrassed. YouTube makes everything look easier than it is. Number 23. The Superglue sidewalk prank. This person thought they'd invented comedy gold. Superglue a quarter to the sidewalk and watch people try to pick it up. They carefully placed the quarter with generous glue around it. Several people tried and failed to pick it up. Then they made a critical error. They sat down to watch. What they didn't realize was they'd been careless with the glue. A large puddle had formed where they sat. The moment their jeans made contact, chemical bonding began. By the time they realized something was wrong, the glue had soaked through their jeans and adhered to skin. They tried to stand. Couldn't. They were literally glued to the sidewalk. They had to call 911 while sitting on a public sidewalk, glued by their own prank. Firefighters arrived with solvents and bolt cutters, cutting away jeans and dissolving the bond. The prankster ended up in the ER with chemical burns where glue had bonded, pants destroyed, dignity obliterated. Number 24. The expanding foam hands. This man was using expanding foam insulation. The can clearly stated to wear gloves. He looked at the warning and decided he'd be fine. He started spraying. The foam covered his hands in sticky expanding goop. It felt fine at first, then it started expanding and hardening. Within 60 seconds, his hands were encased in rapidly solidifying foam. He tried wiping it off. It had bonded to skin. He tried washing it. Expanding foam is waterproof. His hands were transforming into useless clubs, fingers frozen in position. He couldn't grip anything, couldn't use his phone. He had to yell for his neighbor, who found him with 2 rock-hard foam mittens for hands. Doctors used industrial solvents to slowly dissolve the foam, taking hours and destroying several layers of his skin. He left with raw, burned hands and newfound respect for warning labels. Number 25. The car air freshener incident. A man arrived at the ER with something lodged in his rectum. X-rays showed a car air freshener, the little pine tree-shaped ones. When pressed for truth, he admitted his logic. He wanted his farts to smell better. So he inserted an air freshener where he thought it would be most effective. Air fresheners work by releasing scent into air, not by being inserted into the source. But logic had left long before the pine tree entered. The object became lodged, and he couldn't remove it. Doctors performed an extraction while maintaining composure. The air freshener was retrieved, still pine tree-shaped, forever immortalized in his medical chart. He was treated for minor abrasions and told to never do this again. This man proved some problems don't need creative solutions. Number 26. The wild squirrel manicure. This woman was in a park when she spotted a squirrel. Cute, fluffy, perfect. Then she had a delusional idea. She'd give it a manicure. She pulled out nail polish and glitter, approached the squirrel like it was a willing salon client, and attempted to paint its tiny claws. The squirrel, being a wild animal with survival instincts and zero interest in cosmetics, responded appropriately. It bit her, hard. Full thickness bite going deep into tissue. She screamed and dropped the polish. The squirrel fled, probably spreading word about the crazy human who tried makeovers. She went to the ER with a bleeding hand and a story that made nurses openly laugh. Doctors treated the wound, gave her a tetanus shot, and lectured about why wild animals are called wild. This woman learned nature isn't interested in her beauty standards. Number 27. The homemade fireworks explosion. This person found form instructions for making homemade fireworks using household chemicals. Red flag 1 should have been it was on a forum, not from actual experts. Red flag 2 was several steps said approximately and about. Explosives require precision, not guesswork. They gathered chemicals, mixed them in their garage following vague instructions, and created what they believed was a firework. It was actually a bomb. When they tried igniting it, the concoction exploded instantly. The blast shattered windows. Their hand was shredded, burns, lacerations, and missing chunks of flesh. They were lucky to keep all fingers. ER doctors performed emergency surgery, hours of reconstructive work. This person learned chemistry is not a casual hobby, and internet strangers aren't reliable sources for explosive recipes. Leave fireworks to professionals. Number 28. The frozen metal. Pole dare. Everyone has seen A Christmas Story. The scene where the kid gets his tongue stuck is iconic and a warning. This grown man, surrounded by equally intelligent friends, decided to recreate it on a dare. It was the middle of winter. Someone spotted a metal flagpole. He walked up and pressed his tongue against frozen metal. Instant adhesion. His tongue flash froze to the surface. His eyes went wide. He tried pulling away. Couldn't. He was stuck, tongue extended like the stupidest statue. Friends laughed too hard to help. Eventually, someone called paramedics, who arrived to find a grown man crying with his tongue stuck. They poured warm water over the contact point to slowly melt the bond. When his tongue released, it left tissue frozen to the metal. Blood, pain, immediate regret. He learned movies are not instruction manuals. Number 29. The pepper spray car test. This woman bought pepper spray for protection. Instructions clearly stated to test it outdoors in well-ventilated areas. She decided her car with windows up was close enough. She sat in the driver's seat and sprayed. The pepper spray filled the enclosed space instantly. It hit her face, eyes, lungs. Breathing became impossible. Her eyes sealed shut. She panicked, flailing blindly. In panic, she stomped the gas pedal. The car lurched forward, smashed through her mailbox, and ended in a ditch. She couldn't see, breathe, or escape. Neighbors heard the crash and called 911. Paramedics found her trapped in a car filled with chemical irritant. They dragged her out and decontaminated her. The ER treated her for chemical exposure and whiplash. Her car was totaled. She learned pepper spray isn't for enclosed testing. Number 30. The hotel laundry chute celebration. This man's team had won something important. He was drunk on victory and alcohol. He was staying in a hotel and spotted the laundry chute. In his intoxicated wisdom, he decided sliding down it was the best celebration. The chute was designed for towels and sheets, not fully grown humans. He opened the door, saw the dark shaft going 3 floors down, and jumped in head first. For the first few feet, he lived the dream. Then he got stuck. His shoulders wedged against the sides. He was trapped between floors, unable to move up or down, just hanging in the dark, slowly sobering and realizing the magnitude of his mistake. He started yelling. His muffled screams reached the front desk. Maintenance cut into the wall to extract him. He emerged covered in lint and shame, requiring treatment for claustrophobia-induced panic. The hotel billed him for damages. Number 31. The cucumber constipation cure. This patient was experiencing constipation and decided to take matters into his own hands. He'd read somewhere that insertion could help. He grabbed a cucumber from his fridge. A full 6-inch garden variety cucumber. The insertion was successful. The removal was not. The cucumber became lodged, held by anatomy and poor judgment. He tried extracting it himself. Failed. He waited, hoping nature would take its course. It didn't. Hours passed. Panic set in. He had to go to the ER and explain he had a vegetable stuck inside him. Doctors performed an extraction procedure. The cucumber came out, worse for wear. He was treated for internal abrasions and given actual medical advice. Fiber supplements. Water. Not vegetables inserted backward. This man learned the internet isn't a reliable medical resource. Number 32. The Aerosol flamethrower spider kill. This woman saw a spider in her car and lost all logic. Instead of opening a door and shooing it out, she decided violence was the answer. Extreme violence. She grabbed aerosol deodorant and her lighter, creating a makeshift flamethrower. She aimed at the tiny creature and pulled the trigger. Flames shot out, missing the spider entirely and hitting her fabric seats. The upholstery ignited instantly. Fire spread faster than she could react. The car filled with smoke. She tried putting it out with her jacket. Didn't work. She had to bail out and watch it burn. By the time firefighters arrived, the interior was destroyed. She was treated for smoke inhalation and minor burns. The spider was never found. It probably escaped, living to terrorize another day. Her car was totaled. She learned spiders aren't worth automotive arson. Number 33. The 9-volt battery allergy test. Our final story is perhaps the purest distillation of human stupidity. A man had a 9-volt battery and wondered if his tongue was allergic to it. Allergic to electricity. He decided the only way to find out was direct testing. He placed the battery terminals on his tongue and immediately received a powerful electric shock. His whole mouth lit up with pain. His tongue went numb. He tasted metal and regret. The shock was strong enough to make his jaw clench. He dropped the battery, stumbled around, and eventually went to the ER. Doctors examined his tongue, which had minor burns where terminals made contact. They ran 0 allergy tests because you cannot be allergic to electricity. That's not how allergies work. They explained he experienced electrical current passing through tissue, causing pain and cellular damage. Not an allergic reaction, just physics and stupidity holding hands. And there you have it. 33 documented cases of humanity at its absolute dumbest. From bulletproof phone case testing to tongue battery allergies, these people turned ordinary moments into medical emergencies through pure, unfiltered stupidity. But here's the thing that really gets me. These aren't just random accidents. These aren't slip and falls or unfortunate coincidences. These are calculated decisions. Moments where the human brain looked at multiple options, weighed the consequences, and confidently selected the absolute worst possible choice. Think about it. The man who tested his bulletproof phone case didn't accidentally shoot himself. He actively decided that his hand was the perfect testing ground. The woman who used drain cleaner as mouthwash had to ignore a skull and crossbones warning label. The guy who hugged a cactus had to walk up to it, spread his arms, and commit to the embrace. Every single one of these stories represents a moment where common sense knocked on the door and nobody answered. The emergency room is supposed to be for actual emergencies, heart attacks, severe injuries from real accidents, life-threatening conditions that require immediate medical intervention. It's not supposed to be a museum of poor judgment. It's not supposed to be the final destination for people who think Roman candles belong between their butt cheeks or that pythons make great foot warmers. But here we are. And the truly terrifying part is that these are real cases, documented in actual medical charts by actual doctors who somehow maintained their professional composure while treating injuries that defy explanation. These are the stories they tell at medical conferences, the cases they'll remember long after they retire, the moments that made them question whether medical school was really worth it. What's even more fascinating is the creativity involved. Nobody taught these people to microwave their phones or give squirrels manicures. Nobody suggested that laundry chutes make excellent slides or that chainsaws are appropriate sculpting tools. They came up with these ideas entirely on their own. That takes a special kind of imagination. The wrong kind, obviously, but imagination nonetheless. It's almost impressive how they managed to find brand new ways to injure themselves, ways that probably aren't even covered in medical textbooks, because nobody thought they needed to warn doctors about patients with car air fresheners lodged in unfortunate places. And let's talk about the aftermath, the moment of realization when these people understood what they'd done. The guy stuck in the chimney, hanging there for hours, probably had plenty of time to reconsider his life choices. The woman with Gorilla Glue cemented hair watching her reflection solidify into a permanent helmet. The man sitting on a sidewalk, literally glued to concrete by his own prank. These are moments of pure, crystallized regret, the kind of regret that follows you forever, the kind that makes you wake up at 3 a.m, years later, cringing at the memory. But perhaps the most important lesson here is about warning labels. Every single caution sign, every instruction manual, every do not attempt disclaimer exists because someone, somewhere, actually did the thing. That bulletproof phone case probably didn't expect customers to use their hands as backstops. Gorilla Glue never imagined someone would use it as hairspray. Pepper spray manufacturers probably assumed people wouldn't test it in enclosed vehicles. But they were wrong. Humanity will always find a way to misuse products in ways that defy imagination. These 33 people are proof that natural selection is still very much at work, and that Darwin had a point about survival of the fittest. So next time you're about to do something and a little voice in your head says, maybe this isn't a good idea, listen to that voice. It's called common sense, and as these stories prove, it's your best defense against becoming a cautionary tale. Ask yourself if your decision might land you in an emergency room with a story so ridiculous that it ends up documented for eternity. If the answer is yes, maybe reconsider. Your future self will thank you. But if this collection of catastrophic decision-making made you feel smarter by comparison, if you've spent the last 30 minutes thinking, thank God that wasn't me, then hit that like button. Subscribe for more content because, as these stories definitively prove, human stupidity is an infinite, endlessly renewable resource. And I'll be right here, documenting every magnificent moment of it. Until next time, stay safe, stay smart, and for the love of everything holy, read the warning labels.